So, is my internet okay? Is my internet... What is going on? I want to roast some coffee and then my internet's not working for the stream? Feels par for the course, actually. We'll see if it settles. Give it a little bit. Go check the modem. Well, kind of looks like the internet settled, so we'll go ahead and write up what we're going to do today. So it's been a while since the last roast. I think it's been almost 3 weeks. A lot of coffee to drink, a lot of coffee to learn, and the biggest thing that I've learned is I've learned nothing. My best cups of coffee that I thought were longer roasts, more development, and had not really much sweetness, but it had body and bitterness. Which is very weird because I'm definitely on the sweetness side of I don't know what to say. So anyways, we're gonna do a Kenya double A, and I'm just going to, in theory, burn the shit out of it. I will elaborate on that very shortly. Okay, so we're going to do a Kenya Kiambu Fram Farm double A. So it's a Kenya double A. Kenya double A's are definitely known for their acidity, and that's where like the orange juice and the lemon rind components come in. This one has a lot of spice flavors, hoping that I can bring it out in the roasts. And the idea that I'm going to go ahead and go with today is the charge kind of low. These are really, really dense beans since they're Kenyas. But I'm going to charge extremely low. About 2 notches lower than before. So around 360 is going to be our charge temp. So 360 charge temp. I am going to do P8 the entire time up until about 380 degrees. At 380, mess with fan speeds. And then at crack, go to P3. So what am I hoping to accomplish with this? So I'm trying to get the fastest roasts. I'm going to try to skip over the Maillard reaction phase. I'm going to keep the fan low in the beginning, which is generally really bad because you don't get the beans heated evenly. The outside versus the inside is going to have a lot of differences. So what I'm going to do is burn the living shit. Just burn it. But not burn it, right? Just cook it as hot as it can possibly take, all the way up to crack. And then at crack, I'm going to put the temperature down where it's only going to go up like 1 degree a minute. I'm just basically it's gonna go from like a 20 rate of rise all the way down to a 1. I'm just gonna cut the heat, pull it back, let the residual heat cook the inside of the beans, and hopefully we get a pull around like the 398, 399 degree mark of the beans. There's going to be a lot of residual heat in there, so I might have to do the adjustments earlier. This is just the first draft. And what I want most of all is like a 25% development time. I want this thing to crack around 7.5 minutes. I want this thing to fly. I want to go as fast as humanly possible with these beans. And then I want to just let it pull the heat, let it develop, 25% development time, pull it then, see what happens. Probably aiming right below a medium roast. Every single roast that I did previously where I pulled around crack or tried to be as light as possible, terrible. I just couldn't drink it. Like, I grew old of it. It was just overwhelming sour acidity in your mouth, and it wasn't pleasant. So what we're going to try to do here is skip over a lot of the caramelization phase of the sugars. So we're trying to preserve the sugars in the beans, but also develop them past that acidic phase while maintaining as much sweetness as possible. So that's the idea. I don't know if it's going to work. It's a Hail Mary at this point because I've been roasting so many beans, and I feel like I'm just wasting beans at this point. But, you know, it's a learning process. Okay. Lady says it is charge time. And so we're gonna measure out 400 grams. We're just gonna keep it at 400 grams because after, you know, weight loss of roasting process, 400 grams is about 12 ounces, give or take, with a 15% weight loss. And, you know, you can sell 12 ounces of coffee if it tastes like to be good. So if the wild idea works, you know, maybe we start selling some coffee. If it doesn't work, back to the drawing board. And then we roast more coffee. But the flavor profile of this Kenya definitely speaks to me. I love cardamom. Definitely love the clove spice. And then stone fruit is delicious. And Kenya double A's are my favorite coffees. I do like acidic coffees. I know I ranted that I just got a bunch of sour. But if you don't get sweetness to round out the sourness, it's just, you can only drink so much sour coffee, right? I'd rather drink like carbon coffee than sour coffee. Anyways, so we're going to measure out 400 grams of this Kenya. Boop-a-doop-boo. Come on, almost there. Come on. Come on. I believe. $3.99. 400. Nice. Yeah, lady, I hear you. Come on, give me a break. I had to go through my spiel. I had to measure out my coffee. So, keep the fan low. Drum speed 8, P8. I need to remember that, because that is very important to get as early as possible. Joke. And away we go. So P8, drum 8. And away we have gone. All right. Am I making carbonated coffee? I am not making carbonated coffee. Are you talking about like a espresso tonic? If I can get good roasted coffee, I would love to do like an espresso tonic. But at this time, it's just roasting some normal coffee, trying to bring out the sweetness, make it very palatable. And once we get a good baseline, then we can start going into the fancy coffees. Oh, did I say that? I was basically ranting as like a lot of the coffee that I roasted previously, I would try to pull it around the crack. Is basically when all the steam escapes from the beans, and that's when it puffs up. And that's how you basically know it's basically the lightest the roast you can possibly drink, because the beans are brittle enough to grind in your grinder without breaking it, and then there's not much grassy flavor. But it was just sour, I think was what I was trying to convey. If I said carbonated, that's my fault, and I apologize for that. Okay, let me go ahead and get my notes filled out. So I am not going to basically adjust anything. I'm going to let this baby cook as hot as humanly possible. I'm not going to worry about my rate of rise. I'm not going to worry about controlling the crack. I just want this thing to crack, and then I'm going to cut the temperature and see what happens. A coffee connoisseur. I'm trying to be. I'm chasing that dragon. So, good coffee is a tough dragon to chase. You go to like a specialty coffee shop and you drink it for the first time and you get like this nice, sweet, well-bodied cup of coffee and you're like, wow, I absolutely love this. And then you go back to that same coffee shop like a month later and then it doesn't taste the same and you're like, what happened? Am I the problem? And then, you know, a year down the line. Coffee is definitely more of a science than anything. It's kind of like, well, cooking is kind of like a science and an art. Coffee is definitely more of a science. There's, I think, like over 300 or 400 chemical reactions that happen inside the bean during the heating process, and we don't even know, like, what all those are. But the graph is basically just so I can track how the roast goes. It keeps tracking my temperatures. In the normal sense of coffee roasting is you're supposed to control your rate of rise, which is basically the how fast your coffee is heating up. And one of the renowned roasters in the world, his name's Scott Rao, and his philosophy is that you must control the rate of rise, gradually lower it. And I've done that in a lot of roasts previously. The cup, not to my liking, it was okay coffee, and so I'm just going to go with a wild idea of just going as hot as possible. But I'm going to be probably ranting and then thinking and making like on-the-fly adjustments. Actually, what is my coffee at? My coffee was at 300 degrees. Oh wow, it's already like 4 minutes in the roast. I wasn't even paying attention. I need to start paying attention now. 412 is where I'm hitting 300 degrees. My rate of rise is still exceptionally high. Doesn't look like I'm burning the beans, which is good. Maybe a little discoloration that I don't like. I might cut the charge temperature one more time. Percolators taste like shit. Tannins are important. Tannins, yeah. And you can burn coffee. You can brew it a little too hot, and that what an extra hot brew is going to do to your coffee is dissolve or extract a lot more of the bittering compounds, which are like the tannins, which you don't want. And you also can burn it in the roasting stage. You can go past medium and then towards the French side of things. Did I already pass yellowing? I'll mark yellowing here. Man, this roast is flying, actually. But coffee gets very saucy in both the roasting stage, because you want, there's like a 340 was at 540. Jeez. I'm trying to like do like 3 things at once. No, you're perfectly good. It's good to like talk about it. So holy crap, I lost my train of thought already. Oh yeah, so with coffee, there's like the best potential you can get is in the green beans, right? You can only roast the coffee as much or as well to bring out sweetness as there's sweetness in the bean itself. And then once you roast the coffee as best as you can only brew it as well as you roasted it. And then, you know, that depends on your green bean. And so you can have a coffee that's roasted well, but if it doesn't have any natural sweetness or is a different type of coffee than you're normally used to, like it's more chocolatey or just honestly has like no flavor at all other than just maybe wood or tobacco, then you can roast it well, but you can still be an unpleasant cup just due to either how it's brewed, and then there's ways where you can like get more acidity out of such a roast, but that gets a little more in the sauce. Just a lot of variables. Way too many variables for my taste, but I love it at the same time. Yeah, with the specialty coffee wave, like the third wave of coffee that's been going around, acidity has been a lot more prevalent. Like, you want to get away from like the Starbucks. I've never had the poop coffee, and I'm very scared to have the poop coffee. I'm gonna say that. Probably gonna try it sometime in my life, but it's definitely not something. Okay, I actually need to bump up the fan. Oh, too much. I want to go to like fan 7. Okay. Now we are just flying through this roast. Okay. I'm definitely nowhere near a coffee master. I'm just there's a crack, so I'm gonna go ahead and drop this to like P4, and then at rolling I'll go ahead and do P3. Definitely not a coffee master. Trying to be, but definitely nowhere near close. And then once I hear rolling, I'll go down to P3. Almost. Yep, there's rolling. So we'll do P3 and mark our crack. So crack was at 809. Ooh, that's a good crack sound. It's rolling quite nicely. I love it. So then I'll take out my calculator. And then we'll do 809 is like... I'm going to do that now. 0.15, so 8.15 divided by 0.75? 0.75. So I'm pulling it at like 10 minutes something. 10 minutes 52 seconds if I want 25% development time. Saw Shovel Knight's a pleasant surprise. Yeah, I used to speedrun Shovel Knight quite a bit ago. Definitely a blast from the past. I kind of want to get back into it, but coffee's been taking up a lot of my time. I hope I didn't put like Shovel Knight as the game that I'm on the stream, but ooh, we are getting some smoke in here. Okay, the bean temperature is a little higher than I want it to be, but the rate of rise is definitely lowered, and we're cracking quite nicely. Probably wanted this ended at like a 399 out of 401. But looks like this is going to be, should be a 1052 pull if I want to get that 25% development time. So cracking is inside the beans. There's a lot of moisture, and when you heat the beans up and roast them, the moisture has nowhere to go, and so it cooks. And when enough pressure builds up in the beans, around like 395 degrees, 396 degrees, it finally, there's enough pressure where it cracks open the beans. So beans, normal like green beans are really small, and then after the crack, they puff up because of the explosion of steam releasing from them, and then the steam coming out of the coffee also increases the temperature inside of the drum, and then that also leads to more heat in the environment. So a lot of times once you hit crack, you have to lower the temperature, otherwise the temperatures can get out of control, and then your coffee goes too far and starts to burn. So that's what cracking means when and then I don't know if you were hearing the little pops. The next roast that I do, I'll move the mic closer when it starts cracking, and it's like Rice Krispie treats. It's just pop, 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 pop. Sounds really cool. Ooh, the smell is absolutely amazing. So we're at 1052 now. So we are going to pull that bad boy. Nice. All right, what do we have here? Ooh, nice deep brown color. Doesn't look like I have any burning, which is nice. We'll go ahead and get this a stir so we can cool it faster. So I'll do a comparison shot of the coffee post-crack, where basically you see it now, it's all nice puff, it's very smooth. You can actually see like here where the bean is like ruptured by the force of the explosion from the steam escaping. And we're basically stirring here because there's a fan underneath the bowl that's pulling the hot air through. And we just need to cool coffee after roast about 4 minutes down to room temperature. Otherwise, you can develop unpleasant flavors outside of the roast. And hopefully this is not too loud for you. When I was rewatching some old archives, I felt this was very ASMR, but I could be totally wrong. Oh, but I'm loving the way these look. This is actually probably my most even roast, and I just didn't care at all. I just cooked the living crap out of it. I don't see very many scorch marks. This is nice. What do we got here? Still pretty hot to the touch. So we're gonna cool it. We're gonna weigh up the coffee, because when you cook the coffee, it loses weight, and that's a lot of the water weight escaping from the beans. And then the weight loss is basically gonna tell us like around what roast level we're at. Light roasts are usually about 11 to 12% weight loss. Mediums are like 13 to 15, and past that you get towards the Starbucks style roast. Very carbon forward. You don't really taste pleasant flavors anymore. But I don't hate the carbon flavor. It goes very well with milk. But if you're trying to drink black, definitely not my cup of tea. Alright. Almost there. Nice. That is definitely cool to the touch. Beautiful. Olivia is not going to invest in buying one of these machines. This machine is very expensive. What do you recommend as a place that's the best coffee? So it's probably best to find a local coffee shop that either roasts in-house. Is probably the best bet. I'm not sure where you live, but there's a lot of coffee roasters. Where they roast their coffee in-house, and that way you know the coffee is fresh, and it's there's at least an idea behind the roasting process. Otherwise, I don't hate on the Starbucks. Like if I'm drinking something with cream or something, like that definitely cuts through the ash and carbon that you taste. I think I get less ash and carbon out of like Dunkin' than I do out of like Starbucks. And there's also like the chains in between. Like there's a Dutch Bros in Las Vegas that has actually palatable. And like I hate on Starbucks, but without them, they definitely like propagated the coffee to the masses, right? So even though you might not enjoy their particular coffee, you can't like ignore them as a player. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna measure out my beans. We started with 400 grams, so we will see what we ended up with. Ooh, these things really puffed up, my goodness. I'm gonna spill. I need a funnel. I have a funnel. Why don't I use a funnel more? I'm spilling anyways. All right. Oh, is this not even big enough to... Oh, crap. My bowls are not big enough for the coffee. They expanded a lot more than I was expecting. All right. We ended at 341, so I'm going to write that down. So we did a 1052 pull. Yellow was at... Ooh, yeah, that's what I want. 525. We started with 400, and then we got to 341. And it's 49, 25, 25 for my development times. Okay. Number 1. I need to go get a different container. I will be right back. For sweeter coffee, before I grab the container. Sweeter coffee, lean towards lighter or medium roast coffee. Anything in the dark roast is, most of the sweetness is out of it. It's mostly just like that ashy carbon flavor. It doesn't necessarily mean it's bitter. It's just that's what you're going to taste. If it's brewed well, I actually do like that diner style coffee where you're just kind of like that tinge of carbon, but it doesn't overwhelm the tongue. But you definitely want to lean towards like light, medium roasts. I think like a light roast of Peet's coffee is definitely on the sweeter side and is more mainstream. If you don't want to get into like the sauce of specialty coffee. And then it also depends on how you brew it. Like if you're doing a pour over, it's definitely highly dependent on your grind size, highly dependent on how many pours you do. So it gets very in the sauce, but like if you're gonna throw it in a coffee machine, probably aim for like a light to light medium roasted Peet's would be something that you would bring a little more sweetness than you're probably used to doing in a cup of coffee. Let me go grab that container because this is overfilling, and I'll be right back. You want to see my overfilled bowl of coffee? Like filled to the brim. How am I gonna pour this safely? Oh joy! Where's my funnel? Very goodness. Cool. And with much coffee. Beautiful. Cap that one up. And vacuum the shaft. Try charging this a bit higher. So.
Charge boosting has boosting finished. Now cooling.
So let's see.
Preheating.
Okay. I am back from that, and now let's go ahead and go back to our previous roast because I need to input some parameters and see how we did. Honestly, I like this curve. It just kind of like has a natural cooling, and then right around the crack, I just floor it down to the bottom. Like, nope, you are not going past where I want you to be. So this is going to be Kenya number 1. We started at 400 and at 341, so we have 15% weight loss, which definitely fits my math. 341 is 12 ounces. So that is bang up. Looks like it's right at medium, right below medium overall. We cracked at 809. I want to get that crack like 30 seconds faster, honestly speaking. So this next roast, we're going to do like 365. to 370 charge temp. We're going to try fan 3. I think fan 2 is the default, so we're going to do fan 3 at start. The extra fan is just going to circulate the heat more and get more of like an oven rather than like a skillet when the beans are touching the sides of the drum to get the more airflow, actually heats them up faster. At crack, P3 definitely was great. I think fan 7 was good. I might want to do fan 8. So 385 fan 8. And then at crack, as soon as I hear that it starts to roll, just pull that baby down to P3. So that's what my changes are going to be. Looks like charge is 365, which is perfectly fine. So we'll update the notes there. Background music is just like a generic jazz live channel I found on YouTube. Didn't want anything too distracting, but I felt like doing a roast without background music was a little awkward, right? There's a lot of dead air, and then there's just a lot of the beans going, which, you know, is not the worst, but I feel like just having something else is kind of, it feels kind of homey. Feels relaxing and welcoming. All right. So we're going to measure out 400 grams for our next roast. Perfect. Honestly, I have no idea what channel points are. Like, when I streamed on Twitch, I had none of this crap. And so I'm mostly streaming to Twitch, and I'm also streaming to our coffee YouTube channel. I feel like Twitch has more engagement. So I just keep the Twitch chat on, but I do a dual stream. But I have no idea what channel points are. Like, I guess it's to show, like, loyalty to a channel and just, like, show your fans and build more engagement, but I'm just confused. In my day, we lurked, and then we said pog when something cool happened, right? I just feel like an old man at this point. Oh, jeez. Becoming a boomer. Anyways, we'll go ahead and start this next roast. P8, fan 3, drum 8, perfect. Alright. YouTube, so if I can actually find it, because last time I searched for it, all it has is just the archives right now. We're gonna do some like brewing videos, but it's Odd Bros, I think it's Odd Coffee. I think we actually got Odd Coffee on YouTube. So ODD space COFFEE. And of course, I can't find it. So, so we, buddy of mine, known him for 11 years. We purchased the roaster together. The roaster was like $3,000, so we did half and half. He hasn't done anything with the roast yet. He's been working on life and stuff, and so I've been keeping the roaster at my house. But the idea is that once we get a good baseline for our roasts, we're going to do basically roasting competitions where we order a bean. We do a video where we show side by side what he did to roast it, what I did to roast it, and then we're going to brew them side to side and see what we like best and stuff like that. Working on life is a good excuse. Yeah. So I definitely keep saying we and stuff because even though he's not here, he's definitely a part of it, very included. He lurks a lot on the stream occasionally as well when I do these coffee roasts. Basically, when his life gets a bit situated, he's going to take over the roaster and he's going to basically do what I've been doing, just so he can learn it more. And then once we both know it a decent amount, we're going to do those competitions and then try to push more videos on YouTube. And then we have a few different crazy ideas for brewing methods, for pour-overs and stuff like that, like V60s. And so we definitely want to start trying to push out that content. But until then, we're just roasting coffee, and I get mad that coffee tastes not the way I want it to, and I go back to the drawing board, and I just rack my brain. It's fun all the time. And then like the archives are actually more useful for me because a lot of times when I'm copying the coffee, like because you have to wait when you roast coffee, you kind of have to wait a week because there's a lot of gas still trapped inside that you have to let gas out. The gas is it's carbon dioxide, so it's very acidic. You don't really like the taste of it, and so you have to wait a week. And by the time I wait a week, even though I'm taking notes, I kind of forget what I did, so I can do like a 2x speed on the stream, be like, oh yeah, that's my thought process. I was an idiot. But I appreciate you coming by, and if this is entertaining to you, we're the same type of weird. So this roast is much faster. I'm almost at 300 degrees already. I think 412 was our last one. We're at 285 and it's only 3.5 minutes. No, that's about on par because we're at 30 seconds to raise 15. No, we're about even. I think we're gonna beat it by like 10 seconds. Our rise actually looks higher. I think that's the fan speed. Oh, I also charged higher. Yeah, I forgot about that. Okay. Oh, we're almost at 300. So how much faster are we? 357. Okay. 357. So we're 15 seconds faster. That's actually not bad. And then 15 seconds just translates to like 30 seconds by the time we hit crack, I believe. Just because you're building more momentum going into the roasts. I can look into the stimulating the wrinkles in my brain. I've been delving into coffee for like the past year and a half, and I still don't know anything. Just used up some channel points. Well, I appreciate using the channel points. I don't think I get any notifications on that because I'm not even on my Twitch page. I just have the chat in my stream window. But I definitely appreciate whatever channel points mean, and if it's like a perk or something that I'm supposed to say out loud, like a copy pasta, then I guess I could Google something really quick. I cannot see the highlighted message. No, I have no idea what that. Am I at yellowing yet? Not really. We're still very green. Oop, what a waste. Oh, that's unfortunate. After this roast, I will go and load up the stream and see if I can see it. We'll call yellowing here, even though it's very green. It's very subjective. Yellow is like one of the things that I don't really care for as a marker, honestly. 340 is 523, so we're 17 seconds ahead. Feel like we should be more ahead. I think the extra fan is getting in the way here, but that's okay. We should still have plenty of momentum going into the crack. And then when it starts rolling crack, I'll move closer with the microphone and hopefully you'll be able to hear how it sounds. It's definitely like Rice Krispie Treats, but a lot more explosive. Okay, we are flying. Absolutely flying. This curve is very different, but also kind of the same. Feels weird not making adjustments. Like in my previous roasts, I would be constantly lowering the power. Very different, but also kind of the same. Yeah, I say some weird things. That is how I describe it. Honestly, that is like very good description of coffee. Because even though I have so many different types of coffee, I'd be like, this tastes different, but also kind of the same, It still has that like coffee base, right? Because you're introducing roasting flavors. Just by cooking it, and then you try to preserve the origin flavors. And so if you ever hear the term single origin, that just means the beans are from one specific farm in one specific region. So like this one is from one farm in Kenya, so it's a single. Oh wow, we're at 380. I should change my fan speed to fan 8. Wow, we are flying. I didn't even mark down my 380. So we should be approaching the crack extremely soon. Oh, I heard a pop. As soon as I hear it rolling, we'll go down to P3. Ray rise is still extremely high. There's one pop, but we're not quite rolling. As soon as I roll, I'll go to P3. Okay. Okay. I will call crack here, and then we'll go down to P3. And I will move the mic over so you can hear the cracks. So I don't know if you're able to hear that, but that is what it sounds like when the coffee cracks. It actually sounds like, it's popping. So 751, so 51 divided by 60 is 0.85. 7.85 divided by 0.75. We're pulling at 10.467. So 60 times 0.467. So 1028. 1028 is where I'm going to be pulling this. Crack was 751. That sounds about right to me. Quick maths. Much more delicate popcorn. Popcorn crack is probably the more normal way to say, now that I really think about it. So yes, it's definitely more like a popcorn crack than Rice Krispie treats. What am I talking about? But yeah, that's basically a coffee crack. It's the same idea of popcorn. It's just so much pressure is built up inside the seed that it bursts through. And with popcorn, that becomes the inside becomes fluffy just due to like what's inside, and it explodes forward. Coffee it mostly just releases water and steam, which is water. All right, so my bean temperature is a lot higher than it was, so I didn't control the ender nearly as much as I wanted it to. So this is going to be probably 16% weight loss compared to the last coffee. Definitely more on the medium side. I probably would have to do the fan or just pull the power a lot sooner, like maybe 393, 392, just so I don't get the bean temperature this hot. But we're almost at that 1028 mark, which is 25% development time. And then development time is just the percentage of time. Oh god, that's hot. After your coffee is cracked. So if your coffee cracks at 8 minutes and you pull it at 10 minutes, your development time is 20%. And that's how that works. Why do I have coffee stuck inside you? Hello? Coffee, come free. Free coffee, don't get stuck. Coffee, come out. Come out and play. Oh my goodness. Please. Thank you. You escaped. I believed. Alright. So, kind of the same color-wise. This is definitely on the medium. I'd say the weight loss is 16%, but I could be completely wrong. It might be exactly the same, but we shall see. Definitely even on the roast. I think a few black spots, so I might have charged the temperature too high, and charging is the temperature that you start with. So previous roast I did 360 degrees, and this roast I did 365. But it was definitely a violent crack. I have bits and pieces of coffee shattered, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It just doesn't look nearly as pretty, but probably tastes equally as good. I just knocked a bunch of beans loose, so I'm going to throw them back in the pot so I don't lose them. Because the weight definitely matters for my notes. Please. Still quite hot. Probably my least favorite step, because if I don't cool the coffee enough, it's like quite bad. And then the bowl is not nearly large enough for vigorously stirring to get it very cool, but we're pretty much there now. So I'm gonna go get another container and I'll be right back. $3.40 exactly. Yep, $3.40. All right. So the last one was $3.41, and this one is $3.40. So technically, it's a little bit lighter or a little bit darker. A lot more weight loss. So we roasted a bit longer. So we'll name this one Kenya number 2. 2, 400, 340, still about the same. Feel good about that. Let's see. What shows am I into? I watch a lot of animes. I actually just finished watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the last season of it. It was okay. It was pretty good. I basically watch stuff that I see on Netflix. Decent amount of animes, like Jujutsu Kaisen just recently came out. But I don't necessarily watch too many things. Mostly be playing World of Warcraft Classic as like my go-to recreational activity when I'm not coffee. Oh my god, what am I doing to my coffee roasting? There it goes. Okay. So, we're going to do an overlay here. I did watch Blood of Zeus on Netflix, and I found that quite good. And we're going to overlay that with Kenya number 1. So, honestly, about the same. You know, it's just the extra charge temperature just made it slightly hotter. It looks like I pulled the temperature back sooner, but we had more momentum in the second roasts. Yeah, we definitely was in like the 406 temperature again. So I probably need to cut the temperature back a lot sooner. And then to put on the fan a lot sooner, just so I don't cook it to like the 405 degrees. that I'm getting to over here. I definitely want it still around the 400, 401. With the overlays, it's pretty similar. Cautious. Oh no, my weep side has been known to this channel. Like I have like 20 to 30K dollars worth of freaking figurines that I've collected over the years. But I just haven't been watching stuff lately. I used to go really hard in the anime, but now I just occasionally watch like what people say is good, and then I've mostly just been playing WoW, honestly speaking. So percentage-wise, it's still about the same: 49, 25, 25. Yellowing was at 515. Honestly, I think this is great success. Flex them off. It is a poor weave. I can appreciate the figures. Jeez, I haven't have a recent picture of it. They're like all in storage and crap in a room, but probably not the best idea to invest in them. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. Definitely wish I did more into like retirement planning than buying the figurines, but it's like, you know, as a teenager when you're poor, you're like, man, I want to buy at least like one figurine, right? And then it's just the price tag is like, wow, that's exceptionally high. I can never buy one. And then you go off to college, you get a job, and then you have disposable income, and you're like, oh, I can finally buy those things as a kid I never could buy. And then one thing leads to another, and you have like 100 figurines. You know, it just naturally happens, right? But no, I definitely get very, very in the sauce and a lot of stuff. Most of it is I haven't opened, so I can always probably resell it later on if I intend to. Probably never going to sell them, honestly speaking, just knowing the way I am. But that's just the type of personality I have. So we'll go ahead and turn the roaster off. Any last notes that I have about these coffee roasts? I'm not telling you not to buy it. I think I actually know which one you're talking about too. But you know, if the way I think about it is like, if it brings you happiness, why the heck not, right? As long as you're not spending past your means, you're an upstanding person of society, you know, I don't see what it cares if what you spend your money on, as long as you can take care of yourself and do the things you need to do. That's at least my philosophy on that. I mean, I also spent $3,000 on a coffee roaster, and I'm not selling coffee yet. I'm just trying to learn how to roast coffee, trying to chase that good tasting dragon. So I think that's going to be it for today. The idea seems to worked out. I got that crack around the 8-minute mark, which is very quick. More towards the industrial side. I'm probably going to have to cup these to see exactly where I need to do moving forward, because it might be just be a little too far medium. I might have introduced too much roasty, ashy flavor into it, and so I might have to dial back when I destroy my temperature, you know, where the temperature just drops on the graph that you see there. But I think this was actually quite good. Like, I didn't overthink too many things. I just kind of let the coffee beans do what they're doing. And it doesn't look like I got any, like, crazy jumps in temperature. It's just like, you know, rate of rise is falling, and then control. So, hopefully it cups good. I definitely went more aggressive in the development time. I used to be very into tea. A good oolong is probably something I would always have over coffee. But I think coffee has more potential than tea. If you get like the best cup of coffee versus the best cup of tea, I think coffee wins. Just because the best cup of coffee is probably something most people have never had. And it's just unexpected how much sweetness that comes through just black coffee. Like, my favorite cup of coffee is like, hilariously, something I roasted in a popcorn popper. I completely just fell into something that was great. Unfortunately, I've never been able to recreate it. But the flavor profile was cardamom and raisins. And so you would drink the coffee and you get cardamom on your tongue. And then the coffee oils would deliver raisin to like the back of your mouth and into your gums. Oh, it was delicious. Absolutely delicious. But I do appreciate tea. And I'm very in the sauce and boba as well. But once I get coffee down in a coffee shop, we can probably add boba after that. Too many things to learn at once. So with that, I thank you for stopping by. I hope I didn't rant too much. I think this is a successful roast. Definitely probably what I'm going to start trying to do, especially because I'm in the sample roasting size. And I will catch you hopefully on the next roast. Take care. Have a great night.